Hello, we have a pretty close game played on IGS where black won by 2.5 points. There were two life and death situations that both white and black missed. First of all, white could kill this lower left corner when the group became a J formation, but he failed. Then black could kill the top left corner, which was supposed to be an L formation. We will get there soon. Now, let's see the Fuseki first. So we have a parallel Fuseki, then the modern two-space high Shimari, and white attacks right away in order to limit black's expansion of a Moyo. But here actually white can consider the top right double Kakari or a pincer around the bottom side like K4. This is an ideal shape for black after white defends calm at C6. Black really wants to extend back to K4. Anyway, it's common to play a move like R8, but let's see what happened. So kick first. Actually here, black can just play R14 because R8 is still kind of thin. Now, white of course can continue with Q4 or R5. But if something like this happens, black can cover one side or the other. And for example, in this case, white can drop down, then Hane in the corner, hanging connection, connect, which is already linked to R8. Then black has to pay attention on the cutting points like P3. So black needs a tiger mount here, and white can play away. Simply defend the lower left, or locally white can play a move like R6 for I shape, but white is already connected. So if black tries, for example, S6, white will play the clamp, and then when black goes down, white separates. If black connects, white links under, and now black has to come back to protect against the Han at P5, and white can extend for a base. So this is possible in case black ignores, but black plays the Kosumitsuke. Now usually here, locally, black will double up R6 or play a move like S6 to secure the corner with a flexible shape, but black can also consider a pincer like R10, for example, to put more pressure on R8, so when white jumps out, then play the Kosumitsuke, white has to go down or play a Hane or ignore. The idea is that this way white becomes more heavy, so black jumps along and starts chasing the group out. And in this case, black has to secure the corner and also defend the top right. So this would be a more active defense for black and try to put all his stones in action. Now with this Kosumitsuke, whoa, white still comes in. That's a bit late. For white, the normal move is to go up and then think about the invasion at R5 or something to damage the corner. But when white simply plays here, black will defend the corner and white can also extend for a base. White doesn't have to be too hasty and rush an invasion at R5 or around there. Now when white plays this move, black can cover, and then if white goes down and black continues to try to capture the stones, it's going to be difficult for white to connect to R8 anymore because R7 stays in the way. So this is a little bit punished. I mean white. Black didn't cover from the outside, so black wants to keep the corner, which is fine too. And here, black played the Atari from the right, but actually the Atari cut works too, because if white comes out, we have a ladder, and in 2 moves white is captured. And if white plays Atari under, black can just capture the stone right away. When white Atari again, black will Atari from the outside. So this is good style. Black becomes very strong on the outside and white is still struggling in the corner. There's a co-fighter. Another way is to connect solidly, and then when Atari here, just go up. So the corner is still very strong. White needs a double hanging connection, and the group is pretty heavy, and now also R8 seems to be kind of wasted. It's too strong, too close to a strong formation. So we have Atari here, then descent, and white blocked. This block is looking to use the cutting points at R3, R5, but actually white needs to extend to make a base. White can also cut in the corner once to see how black reacts, whether it's Atari R2 or Atari S3, and in this case white can go down in Sente and then extend for a base. But of course black will play Atari from below, and anyway this creates a Magi, then white still needs to extend for a base, and in the meantime weaken a little bit this F3 stone. So white connected, white dropped down, and now this is a bit heavy, so black can take away the extension. Actually, black can go all the way to L3, because playing only K3, white still has space to make a tiny base. 2-space jump is not too bad. Of course, 3-space jump would be ideal, but if he has room for a 2-space jump to fix a base, he's happy enough. Therefore, if you play a move like L3 and white is forced to make a 1-space jump, that's over concentrated, so now white doesn't feel so comfortable anymore. Anyway, probably black didn't play L3 thinking that white can also jump in, but this is good for black. Black can jump here, white needs to defend the corner, then attack the 4 stones. Also the other stone, it's a weak group too, so interesting idea. Now here we gotta make a little reading exercise. So with S5, obviously white is trying to use the cuts at R3, R5. So what black did in the game was S5, which is the safe play to keep connected. But if black separates, which would be the right impulse, white will probably cut R3. Then, of course, if black is ready to read, we'll just sacrifice the 2 stones, and that's it. But black can resist in the fight with Atari under and play S2. Now if white cuts here, black will capture all the stones right away. And if white turns and connects, now we have 5 liberties against 4. But in this semi, black can go down T2, and now all of a sudden there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for black, and one of them is common, the T3 liberty. So if white fills here, now it's 4 against 4, then black will win the semi by 1 liberty. And even if white plays from the outside, like this, black will do the same, remove a liberty from the outside, white will push, black pushes again, white takes away another liberty, and now black can play either move R6 or E4 or T3, because white needs an approach move first, and then black will just Atari and capture everything. So in fact this semi is won by black by simply going down to T2. So it's good to be able to read such sequences in an actual fight, because then you can come up with the decision to cut and kill everything, not just defend. So white pulls back and then black connects. Now this feels kind of proper, but in the same time it's a bad shape. So let's say black jumps out here. If white simply goes Atari and captures 1 stone, he's fixed on the, he's safe on the right side. It will reinforce the group, but the bottom stones are in trouble and black is out to surround them. Another way for black is to attack from the side, for example R10. So if white goes here and captures a stone, again this is a lot of effort to build only 1 eye, and black can separate the groups. So when white tries to fix the bottom one, he's in trouble on the right side. Oops, that's a misclick. Therefore connecting R6 seems a little bit slack. Now this is strange too. White can play a 2-space jump, and then when Hane, just Nobi, and this will secure the base. Also white can play a tiger mount to make some eye shape, or a Nobi to come out with the group, even if black will peep and extend to the right. This way it's hard to catch any of the groups for black next. So we have a connection, a heavy move, and then the defense at R14. This is quite proper, but for black it's still more interesting to play R11 and take away white's base. And when white jumps out, also jump along somehow to separate and surround this bottom group, or just take away the base with an extension from the bottom. Then separate the groups, go in between them. Both the group on the right and the bottom are targets now. So R14. Now white kinda escape on the bottom, but on the right side he's still in a little bit of danger. This is good. For black it's very natural to play R11, because this group doesn't have a base anymore and needs to jump out. So that's a gain. Double approach ELF is nice too. White shouldn't block. Either side it's wrong. White should go from the outside to set up some influence on the left and go for a moyo. So this block is strange because the shape is heavy, and the wedge is also a little bit bad for white, because now he created an empty triangle and black went down. Very good. White separates, but his group looks like a wall, but in fact it's just a heavy weak group. Now here when black jumps, it's actually a little better to play H4 because white still wants to invade h3. So this move prevents the invasion and puts white on the run. White needs to go out, then black can proceed with normal moves. Attack this group, then play a pincer in the top. So if you look all over the board, all black's formations are very solid. And white is running. Well, this jump feels good too, put some pressure on the p4, but white can still come inside. So here black is choosing a pretty good attach, in fact. Usually on the third line invasion, it's good to play the h2 move, the second line defense. And no matter where white cuts, for example, if white cuts on the left, we cut and go Atari up, then white will connect under, and we separate like this. If white captures one stone, just protect against the cuts in the middle, so this group on the left is still on the run. Well, something similar can happen anyway, with the attach on top. And if white cuts the other way, you place several attacks like this, then separate the group again, the one from the left from the one on the right. So we have attach on top, but here black can play with a bit of fighting spirit. For example, in order to prevent the connection under, black can play the bump. Now if white goes up here, black will block a g3, and that's a problem for white. Even if white pushes and uses these cuts, white doesn't have enough liberty, so it will be captured. Therefore, it's not so easy for white here to react or defend the lower right. He needs to go up and Atari connect to save the bottom stones. Then black can continue. The follow-up from the bump is to Hane and put pressure on this group. So even if black loses the f3 stone, it's going to hurt the stones on the right. So this fight is like a very positive outcome for black. So playing this move, white can connect under. Now the double Hane doesn't work, because even if you plant the stone inside, white is not going to capture at m2 and give up the other two stones. White can simply connect on the left, and now the stone inside will die, and there is not much compensation black can get. In fact, here white can even go Nobi. But capturing the stone is better, take a liberty right away. So what black can do, instead of double Hane, is to bump here, g3. Now this way, black separates the group on the left from the bottom area, and white needs this Atari. But this Atari is a move that black can ignore and connect here instead. Now if white doesn't play the Atari at L3 and goes out with the group, black can now use Atari, Atari again, and connect. This way, white needs to make eyes on the bottom, but the group on the right side suffers again. Black can just surround everything. So for giving up one stone bait here, everything seems to die on the right. Therefore, in this case, double Hane wasn't the move. And this is always a situation where one should read whether it works to play the double Hane or try other moves. So white connects, but connecting solely the J2, it's a little better. This can still leave some RG. And now black plays away. In fact, it's still interesting to play something on the bottom. Just block like this, because the groups are separated. If white cuts here, black can play Atari block, or block right away, or just this vital point and then block, then Atari from the outside and come out. If white resists in the fight here, he might lose something. So that fight is still urgent on the bottom. Now the big point on the left, slide, extend. For black it's really big to extend R11, otherwise white will come R12, so that's an urgent point. If white defends, next move will be, let's see if we can, Kosume or Keima. Just try to surround the stones on the right. So double approach, that feels good. This is an artistic move. Usually black will play Nobi or attach just to secure the top, but it will lead to the same result if white plays the wedge. So and this is quite okay for black. White shouldn't go down. It's better to turn once and then pincer on the left. Even if black cuts one stone, white fixed the left side very nice like this. So white went down, black pushes from behind, that's good. Here black has a move to force white into a bad shape. So this is an L formation, then extend on the left. If white turns, simply go out. If white peeps, you defend because the group is hard to be killed. Now when white goes down, you just cover and come out on top. And white really has to pay attention because if this group gets surrounded, the L formation will be dead. So push from behind, that's also possible. Sumitsuke to fix the base and black extends. Here it's good for black to play a Hane first. And also Atari, then extend. So those two forcey moves kind of puts white a break to develop nice on the left. Here white can Hane, and this Hane is hard to block. You gotta pull back or leave it. So white peeps first, then attacks on the right. This is good. This was a really important point for both. Actually for black R11, for white R12. Now defend proper, that's fine too. Hane. This game leaves some RG, so normally just Kosumi here to step up. But I think it's okay to play one Hane here to see whether white will Nobi or bump. Then there are still lots of Kotrets here. So on the bump, simply wait. Go up and use the cuts and everything as Kotrets. So playing this move, white can choose a Tesujet as a c7 to make black lower. But here black has two options. One is to come out like this, simply separate and keep coming out. Because now the AG on the bottom can activate, so white should either Nobi or capture this stone. Then black can focus the attack on the left side. Another way for black is to protect with a hanging connection, the tiger mouth. If white plays Atari, black connects. When white Nobi, black cuts. If white connects like this, black covers. So it's all linked on the left side. But now these bottom stones are in danger. So black went down. Of course now, when black plays here, white is not going to push to give up the stone, but come out. But this can be dangerous for white. So this is actually where black comes back a little bit. You shouldn't go down. Simply extend. Nobi, come out with the group, try to activate the edge on the bottom. Because if white plays something on the left side, for example, let's say white covers to capture that stone, black can think about Atari once, then cut like this or push through, then Atari from the outside and descend. And because white has these forcey moves on the bottom, it's very difficult for white to approach. So if white plays here, for example, black will Hane first, white needs to capture this stone. Now black has Hane, block, connect, white needs to connect, black plays here, and it's difficult to make a Seki because white needs an approach move. And now just Atari and kill everything. So white has to pay attention here and add another move. Therefore for black it's good to go out, and not going out almost resulted in dying in the corner for black. So white went down. This is all fine for the left side. Yeah, this move is still dangerous. So just Nobi. Come out, white is separated, the corner is safe. White needs to do something here and then start attacking the left side. Oh, and this is the last chance to go out, which is actually a good shape, because if white plays here, you can still use this move, connects everything. White needs another move to stay connected on the bottom, and then continue the attack on the left. Separate this top left from the center and it's all fine because black is connected everywhere. Much easier to fight like that. So white pushes, then jumps out for some liberties. Here, white can simply go out between the groups or play an attach, then Nobi, and now Bamboo. So this group in the middle is still kind of vulnerable. White is out plenty of liberties. And now if black plays another move in the center, white will just Hane in the corner and kill. This is the J group. And white almost did that. So attach, make some liberties. Normally here, black should play this kind of Nobi threatening the cut, but white will attach to connect actively. So with this move, black connects to the top and now surrounds the top left corner, which can die. So white needs a move here. But white, connected like this first. And in the corner. So this will kill the corner normally. If black simply connects, white pushes again, and this is the L formation, which is dead. Now, when black plays the hanging connection, this is the J group, this formation. and it's also going to die unconditionally. So this is a really basic Tsumego. White should play Hane c1, black is forced to block, then hit the vital point a2, because this is more like a bulky 5 formation. If we look only on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 liberties, so white plays right in the middle. Now black will connect b2 or b3, then white links on the outside in order to reduce the space, and if black plays a3, white can throw in and attack again. So the formation is reduced to one eye, and if black captures here, it doesn't matter because that's a false eye. White can capture here to stay safe. Another way to kill is like this: when black goes b3, just connect. So when black plays here, Atari from the inside. When black plays inside, Atari from the outside. So a2, it's right in the key point, the triangle. So here white connected instead, and black made ice. Incredible. At this level, at 4Q on IGS, which is maybe 1Q1 down on other servers, one should know that Hane brings death. This is a Tsumego that actually it's been studied around maybe 10Q level, so people should know that shape and recognize it because it appears a lot in actual games. It's not a fabricated Tsumego. Oh, this push, it's taking away the eye, but black should protect in the center. So black got away without being killed. Interesting combination in the top. Actually here, black doesn't have to do that. Hane, Atari, and connect. But something like this will happen soon. And in the top, for black is good enough to play O18. Now, what happens if white Hane, black pulls back, captures a stone, and the group is still kind of vulnerable, so white needs to protect against the cutting points. If white becomes ambitious and wants to kill that stone, black can sacrifice, Atari from the outside, and separate the other stones. So give one stone bait to separate the ones on the left. And the group in the top is still kind of vulnerable. So if white tries to escape here, black will cover. Oops. Atari from the outside, hanging connection. White needs to leave. In the end, it will make two eyes, and then black can still catch the stones in the top. So probably black was looking for something like that. But playing the Tsuke here, and then for example a crosscut, white can Atari first M17 and then capture the other stone, and there is no more follow-up. And like this, white can capture this way because the ladder works. Oops, Atari and take everything. Wrong Atari. White should take. Or if white doesn't want to take, simply Nobi, and when black connects, connect. So the damage is not much. Yeah, here black can choose to Atari from behind and Atari again. But in the end, white is fine. So black's invasion didn't gain much in the top. Okay, this will secure the center. That's all good. In this case, you don't have to play the Tsuke because obviously white is not going to pull back and then protect like this, or when black pulls back, add another move to be safe. Being strong in the middle, after all these P11 stones, when black attaches, white will capture the stone, and there is no profit for black. So for black, it's good to play just S13 here. If white blocks, you leave it like this, or continue later with the Hane on the first line in Sente. And if black plays away, white will play S13 and continue Sente on the first line. Therefore, it's good enough to play the Kosumi. It's a double Sente move. Of course, white will catch. And usually this kind of situation, it's nice for black when black can Atari from the outside, Atari from the right, and gain something in the middle. But here there is nothing to gain because white is strong in the top, white has stones in the middle everywhere. So in the end, this won't be really worth it because it's difficult to build points there. So why sacrifice one stone when you gain nothing in exchange? And it's wrong to play Atari on the side. Usually Atari above first, and then Atari from the side. And if white captures, Atari again and connect to damage the middle. But anyway, yeah, it was better to play the Kosumi. So now when you Hane, white is not going to play R11. Of course, here he can block, make extra points. So the order is Atari up and then Atari down. Now this is a chance where black could actually kill, and it's okay to connect. But now, instead of Hane to give the ice, black should play, remove the to force the eye with this clamp. If white pushes here, black can double up, for example, or push along. There is no more eye around here. All of a sudden, these two eyes disappear. So what we have in the corner is the L formation, and no matter how white plays locally, he will die. So, for example, we have this situation. Okay, white will push to try to make some eye shape, then we double up. If white pushes here, you pull back. If he pushes from on the right, you block. So there is no eye around here. Nothing happens. So locally, when white plays b18, you just hit the vital point, Hane in the corner, and push. This is one eye. If he tries this move, a18, you play the other two or 1-2 point, then Hane to reduce the space, and again force him into one eye. If he goes down, you just Hane, form a bulky 5 and play in the middle. If he goes down the other way, Hane from the other side, then the same thing. If he tries this move, it's again a bulky 5, you play in the middle and go down. So no matter what white tries in the corner, he's dead. And it's much better to play a move like this, clamp and kill everything, than to let him leave for free and struggle to win the game by a couple of points. Well, a win, it's a win after all, but could have been finished right there. Now playing Atari down, it's wrong because black can just capture the stone. So white will Atari and you take it. Of course here, white can still sacrifice, but white also had the option to connect. Now he didn't connect because he thought when black plays here, it's gonna be dangerous for life, but white has the throw in, then block and Atari, and there are two eyes in the top, then push here and damage some more points in the middle. So white didn't have to worry. So now black took. This is fine. Atari everywhere. And small endgame. Oh, that was minus. Playing the wedge loses some points. More interesting to play the Hane here and then push. So if white plays a pretty good endgame, he might come back. This Atari wasn't necessary. It's good enough to play Hane, and then there will be Atari at b13 after, so black needs to protect. And later on, black needs to play another move inside. Then white can Hane here to damage a few more points. This Atari, it's always white's. This is also white's center. If black doesn't respond to this move, white can jump, push, and now the group is dead. So, and if white doesn't play d1 and plays here, black can Hane in center and gain 2 more points. So that was Gote for white instead of center. And this is Gote too. It's more interesting for white to play Hane and later jump at s1, then connect, and after that we have a Hane in the corner. Like this, black will answer, yeah. And for white, he can try a ko, but maybe it backfires. So like this, white will end up Gote and damage less in the corner. This is also center for black. Center 2, very good. Oh, so big to play t14 because white could play the Hane in center. So even in the last few moves, white could actually come back. But he didn't. So that's pretty much it. Very important to remember the life and death in this lower left corner, the J group, and the life and death in the top left corner, which is the L group. And well, pay attention with the double Hane in the early stage, whether it works or not. You gotta read all the time. Enjoy the review and keep on beating them.